Well, this is the second episode of One Take. I have with me the Speaker Pro Tem of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, not to be confused with the other Mike Johnson. That's Bossier Mike Johnson, that's Speaker of the House of
The
U.S.
original
Representatives.
Mike Johnson.
He's the OG.
The original.
He's from, we call him Rapides Mike versus Bossier Mike. And as I mentioned in our first video, we're going to have a very big vote coming up on Saturday, March 29th, on 4 constitutional amendments. We talked about amendment number 2, which is the biggest one and the most complicated one in our first episode. This one will cover amendments number 1 and number 4, and we're combining them because they're not very complicated. And 2, Speaker Pro Tem Johnson here is an attorney, so he can explain the details of it very succinctly. So let's talk about amendment number 1.
Amendment number 1 does something that, quite frankly, I thought we were already doing, but it's very necessary. We seem to have more and more out-of-state lawyers practicing in Louisiana. Louisiana lawyers are subject to certain conducts, codes of canons, and ethics that are administered by the Supreme Court. The current law doesn't give our Supreme Court that authority to have jurisdiction over out-of-state lawyers that decide to practice in Louisiana. This simply gives our Supreme Court the right to put the hammer down on any misbehaving lawyers from out of state. That's one of the main provisions of that particular constitutional amendment. The second one is one that's particularly of need for communities, parishes, areas where there aren't significant finances and where we don't have the benefit of specialized courts. Rapides Parish is a good example.
Could you give an example of what a
Well,
specialized court
a
is?
specialized court would be like a drug court, might be a family court, and it would depend on the need and the ability to provide that service to an area that wouldn't necessarily be a parish. It might be a whole region. Rapides Parish does not have a drug court. This would allow the legislature to provide a drug court that could perhaps cover several parishes.
And this would be done via statute
That's
versus
right.
a constitutional
That's
amendment.
right. This just gives us that opportunity if the funds are available and if we can show a need. And so, I'm looking at it from my area, but it's something statewide that could provide real services for specialized issues, whether it be family law, juvenile issues, drug court, that type of thing. So that's really the crux of that. It's not to expand the court for the sake of expanding it. It's for specialized needs that seem to have more immediate requirements, and this would allow us to meet that need and to help.
Okay. Now, the other amendment we're going to talk about is amendment number 4, which is fairly basic, but would you like to explain it?
The dates for elections and the dates for elections for replacement of judges is in the Constitution, and they're pretty clear as to when they're set out. We did not consider this whenever we amended the law to do closed primaries. So because closed primaries require an perhaps an additional election if you have a Democrat or Republican, it throws the timing off. This simply corrects that so that you could have an election at the first available time to replace an empty seat. And that's all it does. It's more of a mathematical calendar situation created by unintended consequences.
It's a reaction
from
to a
another law.
previous
Right.
past.
And you want to fill those positions if they're vacant, and this allows us to do it at the earliest possible.
How would the judicial position, let's just say there's a death or resignation, or someone was elevated to a different position, higher court or so forth, how would that vacancy be filled for the time being currently?
Well, in courts in general, the Supreme Court would appoint an ad hoc judge that would do this, but this deals primarily with Supreme Courts. And in most cases, unless they name an ad hoc judge, that seat remains vacant. And you could have, you wouldn't have the full benefit of the total court if you left a seat vacant. Okay. And it's just a necessity it's a means to fill a position that we've already determined we needed as quickly as possible.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the information, Speaker Pro Tem Johnson.
One
once
take.
again, one take, that's why we do it, and we're a little bit smoother. In fact, this time we figured out we needed to put the camera closer to us. So we're definitely making up great leaps and bounds and progress with our tapings. But please vote on Saturday, May 29th. In St. Bernard, it is the only thing on the ballot are the 4 amendments. We've already done a mailer, we've been doing interviews, and we've had even a town hall meeting with Secretary of Revenue, the guy that ran for governor, Richard Nelson.
Richard Nelson.
So we're doing our part to get the word out, get information out, because we want you to be able to cast an informed vote. Thank you for your time, and
Well,
please.
y'all have a great state representative. I'm just going to tell you. We call him a freshman, but he comes with a lot of wisdom and enthusiasm and energy that is unmatched in the House. So
Well, and-
whether you like him or don't like him, I'm telling you from being here, he's effective and he's constant in his effort to serve you.
And by the way, Speaker Pro Tim Johnson is my mentor, so you can blame him
I
for all
have to
my
try
mistakes.
to build him up because I get blamed
So-
if he's not, but he's doing a great job.
I appreciate it, Speaker Pro Tem, and once again, the election is Saturday, March 29th. Thank you.
Thank you.